Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sisters for Harmony. I hope everyone is having a very happy new year. And we are excited to be here. We have our co host back, Miss Ruby Burke, who was cruising the seas back in the December show. Welcome back, Ruby.
Oh, thank you, thank you. A happy new year to you
Thank
and
you.
Brother Yamoja and to our listening audience.
Uh,
Happy New
yeah,
Year.
I hope she learned how to swim this time.
Come on, brother
Yeah,
Moja.
good morning, evening,
Yeah,
hotel,
see,
peace
See,
and
see,
see.
blessings, family.
talking noise. Go ahead.
I greet everyone in the name of God and the ancestors, in whose footsteps I most humbly walk. I
Hmm.
look forward to a very invigorating and informative conversation with our special guests.
I do too. So, Brother Emoja and I had the opportunity to attend the Kwanzaa event. I guess technically it will be hosted by the city of Philadelphia because
Hmm.
it was down in Franklin Square and they had a bunch of different vendors last Friday. And that was day 4 of Kwanzaa. Was it Ujamaa?
Yeah, day four is Ujima, but yeah, that was because it was cooperative economics. Yep.
Right, cooperative economics. And so while we were there, we had the fantastic opportunity to meet Dr. Nia Bailey. And Brother Moja, he was just chopping it up, chop, 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 chop. And
That's
so
right.
finally I made it over because I was busy shopping at one of the other vendors. And so when I came over, he was like, you've got to meet her. You look, she does this, she does this, she does this. And so we had the great pleasure of meeting her. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her to the stage. I could read her bio, but I want y'all to hear her voice and welcome her. So happy new year, everyone. We have people coming in saying hello and good evening. And here she is. It's Dr. Nia Bailey. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, you see my dog in the background, but I'm
Okay,
good.
excellent. We're good. We look, we work with four-legged, two-legged beings and four-legged beings, so it's all
Yeah,
good on our side.
thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. So tell the people about you.
Oh Lord, let's see. I'm from West Philadelphia,
Hmm.
Born
born
and
and raised.
raised.
Yeah. Okay. I grew up on the old Fresh Prince, the original Fresh Prince, not the new.
Okay. Yes.
Um, let's see. I'm a radiation therapist. I
Hmm.
got into the field because my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer when I was a sophomore in high school. I'm a
Hmm.
daddy's girl. So I
Hmm.
had to get in the same field that helped my father.
Mm.
And then
That's
while I was
beautiful.
in the field, thank you. And while I was in the field, I noticed so many young women coming in for breast cancer treatment.
Hmm.
And when I was in school, I felt like we were taught pediatric cancer and geriatric cancer and nothing in between. So I was
Hmm.
really taken aback. And the youngest patient that I had, she looked just like me. Brown skin, box braids, gold anklet. We like the same Philadelphia rapper.
Hmm.
Passed away with triple negative breast cancer when she was 24 years old.
Wow.
So I said there's something that has to give young women do not know, or young men, their risk of cancer and specifically breast cancer. So I
Hmm.
created a documentary and it shows 3 women and their stories going through breast cancer. The
Wow.
first woman, her name is Janique Rivera. She was diagnosed when she was 29 years old, and she
Hmm.
told her story of advocacy. Each physician she went to kept saying, "You are too young for breast cancer," until finally Janique doesn't play. Finally, Janique said, "I'm going to pull out my breast and somebody's going to image it." And it turned out she had stage 3 breast cancer. It went to her lung, it went to her brain, and she is here today to tell the story. She's married,
Wow.
and she's doing phenomenal. So we really push the story of advocacy because only you know your body. So
Hmm.
I can tell you you don't have anything, especially without doing any imaging. That's not.
Hmm. Let me
Um,
say this as you're talking, people, if you are new to Ask Dr. Wall's 525 YouTube page, anytime I do a show, you need to make sure you have a pen and piece of paper or a tab open to take some notes. Because my guests are always going to be dropping some information for you that you want to make sure you are catching. Okay, don't act like you're going to sit up here and remember it, because you're not, because it's going to be a whole bunch of other things talked about. So make sure that you are writing this stuff down. Of course, you can always hit the replay. And if you hear something that's important for someone else, please make sure you share. All right. So, Dr. Nia, let's just go back for a moment. Radiation therapy.
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly does that mean? You have
Yes.
your doctorate in what specifically?
I have my doctorate in public administration, but my 9 to 5 is radiation therapy, which means I kill the cancer in any type of cancer patient. Breast, prostate, lung, head and neck. We are eradicating the cancer.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Brother Moji, look, you have a question.
No, I'm just listening to her. It's so important that we have this show, because, and I thank Sister Nia for bringing her faith and her purpose to us.
Father, thank you.
And it's as we listen to her, and like you said, everyone, you said Dr. Walls, everyone should have the pen and paper, because it is a very important situation she deals with each and every day. And in this information age, I think the more information we have, the better we are for it. So I'm excited to hear all this stuff, because I'm excited to hear to talk, because I watched the documentary. It's very powerful. Thank you for sending me the link. And yeah, so let's get into this, because I am excited to hear what she has to say, because this is Sisters for Harmony. There's a lot of women, and so I think there should be a lot of women. Any women who's listening to this, please call a friend, text them, and tell them to listen to this, watch this, because this information is in 2024. Get started right. Just give them the gift of opportunity. Okay. So please, if you're listening, male or female, please send this link out, call your friends, and tell them to listen, because Sister Nia is about to drop some good goodies on us.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Ruby, anything you want to say before I pass the mic back to Dr. Nia?
Yes. There's a lot of women who don't want to go for mammograms because of the pressure on the breasts and because of the way it's done. And I know that there was, and I'm going to read it, something called a Masca Scan that's used like a mouse.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
okay. Yes. Can you tell me about that?
Absolutely. So, number one, if BEXA can't come to you, what researchers have found is for you to do the squeezing, lack of a better term, of your breasts. So you can put your breasts on the machine, and you can tell the technician when to stop. And what they found is when you do it yourself, you're able to take more pain, and they were able to see more results. So I want to say this to women too. You have the right, you have the autonomy to say, hey, I'm going to tell you when to stop, and they have to stop. And they're able to get the imaging that they need from that. That's number one. Number two, BEXA, like you said, it looks like a computer mouse. It's super small, and you can go over the chest wall or the breast tissue, and it looks for tumors. Breast density does not matter, which is very important with this technology, because with mammograms for young women or for Black or brown women, breast density always obscures when they get a mammogram. That means you can't see anything. So with BEXA, you are able to see something, whether a tumor is there or not, because breast density does not matter with this technology. So it is absolutely phenomenal. And because it's like a mouse, it can come to you. You can't bring a mammogram machine to rural Carolina or Kensington, Philadelphia. You can't. It's huge. You can't bring that. But something like this, you can bring to other different communities, and it's really life-saving. So it's really trying to come on the market and really be a part of healthcare, so we can really save some lives.
Hey, Dr. Bailey, are you saying that, is this something? Okay, let me ask you a question. So, Ruby, thank you, Ruby, for saying that. How do women ask for this? And can you say the name nice and slow again? What do women have?
Well, they call it BEXA. So if you BEXA. Okay. So right now you would have to pay out of pocket because it's not at hospitals. So what we're doing is, so for example, I have an event, and it's sponsored by Touch, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance, and they covered the cost for BEXA to be there. So it's going to be free for anybody. So the way that women are able to get this scan right now is if they attend an event. And usually
really?
at that event, it's free.
Wait. Time out. Did you say free? I like free.
It's free. Thank God for Touch the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. They covered the cost. So anybody that comes for that event, they will be able to get a scan or a screening for free.
Okay. So
let me slide in here run quick before
Okay.
you tell about the event. Now, this is something that can be used on both men and women.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because it is a myth, I would say, that a lot of people think breast cancer is only with women.
Nope.
Have you found that to be true? That people think that's a myth?
Correct. I think because 1 in 8 women get breast cancer, and 1 in, I want to say 400 men get breast cancer. Right. So wow. I think because of that, they think men can't get it. But I've been in the field almost 10 years. I've treated probably thousands of women and maybe 5 men. So it's not as prevalent, but men certainly can get breast cancer. And I do have to say this. One of my friends, she was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was, I want to say 32 years old. And her family has the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene. I say this to say when her son turns 18 years old, he needs to start getting mammograms or ultrasounds. So regardless if you're a man or a woman, you can get breast cancer. And regardless if your mom had breast cancer, you have a chance of getting either breast cancer or prostate cancer. So men and women, yes, get breast cancer.
Wow. And also to that point, normally, when would they request or suggest that one gets a mammogram versus when one can actually start getting one?
Yes. So the task force finally moved the age from 50 to 40. But that's for average risk, meaning you do not have a family cancer history at all. The issue with that is hereditary cancer only accounts for about 5 to 10% of cancers. So it's not always going to be hereditary. So how do you know if you're at average risk?
Exactly.
So it's very important to know your family cancer history. And sometimes that's impossible. Maybe you're adopted. Maybe your family sort of kept everything a secret. They don't want to tell you, or maybe they just don't know. I know my family comes from a small town in Inner East, South Carolina, and it was sort of like bad blood, or they had this or they had this. It wasn't exactly what they had. So if you do not know, or if you do know, I would establish a relationship with your provider and say, hey, I don't know, or hey, I do. And they go from there. Typically providers, what they do is if you do not know your family cancer history, they will automatically assume that you're a high risk because they don't know. And then they would start genetic testing and to see what that comes out to be. Or depending on if you're having issues like a lump in your breast, then you'll get an ultrasound and go from there. I was fortunate enough to know my family cancer history. So my father, as I stated, had prostate cancer. So that increases my risk of breast cancer. So I took that to my physician, and everybody pretty much in my family also has cancer. So she typed my family cancer history in what's called a risk assessment. I have a greater than 20% chance of getting breast cancer. So because of that, starting at the age 28, and I'm 31 now, I get a mammogram and a breast MRI. Here. I got genetic testing done, and it turns out I have a gene, BCL6, which increases my risk for lymphoma. So I get tested and screened every year. And the important part in that is my insurance covers that. So I do not have to pay out of pocket.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So I have a question in reference to that. You can go to your doctor and request a percentage, I understand.
So
as far as your risk.
You would go to your doctor and say, I have a family. You would say, my mom had breast cancer. My dad had lymphoma. My aunts had this. My first cousin had this. And they would type that in a risk, in a calculator. It's really a calculator. And then it will give them a percentage of whether you have a high risk or a low risk of cancer. And if the result is greater than 20%, then they have to do their due diligence of getting you screened. So whether that's a breast MRI, a 3D mammogram, or an ultrasound, it all depends on the tissue.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead, Brother Moja. I know you had a question way back when about the event.
No, she said about the event. I know she's based in Philadelphia. I like her. And because Sisters for Harmony does have a global network of women and men who support the women. I like her to talk about the event. And Dr. Walls, if it's something that Sisters in Harmony could definitely come out and support them, get more awareness or something we could do, we could definitely talk to her about that, because I would definitely be interested in seeing the response if we had to come up and set up a camera so we could get some testimonies from people or something like that. We could drag and we could hogtail Ruby and drag her up from Maryland and stuff like that.
Well, you know
Or
what?
we
I'm
could,
glad that you're saying that, because not the hogtail Ruby, that piece. I
Yeah,
don't
I
like.
like
I
that
don't like.
part.
I don't like that part. The part that I'm
I
talking
do.
about is people coming in from other states. Is it possible? Is it something that, if, say, Ruby does come up from Maryland, could she be screened as well while she's there? So, so as we're inviting our global family in, this is an opportunity to get something that normally they would not be able to get at a free event. So yeah, you might have to pay for your travel, but in the long run, you have things like peace of mind. You have information to take back to your doctor. So yeah, so Brother Moja, now that we know that that is feasible, maybe we do need to put together a Sisters for Harmony event. I like that. And if I remember correctly, is it April 27th? Is that the date?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So
So go
so
ahead.
let okay. So not to go off track, but she said that, and it is bing 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 bing. My Ujima
Mhm.
clicked in collective work and responsibility, right? So if Sister Imani, Sister Faith is going to put this on my table, I'm going to do something with it. She's going to laugh. So this event you're doing, what is the requirements to come in? Is this supposed to some kind of requirements? Do the women have to bring something in with them? And all the women who are listening,
Women and men, because she said she
women
could
and
do
men, excuse
both.
me,
We're
women
not
and
going to
men.
leave men out.
Okay, and that's what I was going to say. All the women, Sister Young, Leslie Young, Regina Goodrich. I know you're taking notes, right? I see you all in the chat room taking
Shay
notes.
got her ear up.
Shay's listening. So what do April 27th, that means after tax day, you relieve, that breath is gone. So what do the women need to do for this event if they want to come in?
Bring yourself. What sometimes the church would say, come as you are, bring yourself. You need no insurance card, you need no tip, you come as you are.
Wow.
Okay, so please send us the flyer so Dr. Walls could post it in the chat room if it's possible. Do you have it, Dr. Walls, already?
No,
Like,
I was going to say,
oh,
is it posted on a website or anything?
Not yet. We
Not yet. Okay.
completed the flyer. So it should be out by Friday.
All right. And what is it called? What's the event called?
It's under our foundation. It's Bird Cancer Education and Advocacy Foundation, and it's called All About Cancer and Wellness Expo.
Okay.
Oh, I like that. It's an Dr. Walls. Ruby. It's an expo. I think Sisters for Harmony just found its first event for 2024. Ruby, stop shaking your head. So Ruby, put that in your schedule, April 27th. Everyone, put it in your schedule, April 27th, and we will be definitely. Hey, Dr. Walls.
Yeah.
I know we have our your YouTube and your different pages. So
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna be people who please follow Dr. Walls if you don't. So she's gonna be posting it on her system. I'll post it on mine. Ruby will post it on hers. But please make sure you follow what's going on. This is very important.
So right now I'm putting in save the date. All right, everyone. So make sure you save the date for April 27th, 2024. All right. I'm assuming that's a Saturday. I haven't looked at my calendar. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
So wait a minute. So they could come to Philly, do the cancer check, the breast cancer check-in, and then we could do a Sisters in Harmony throwdown. I better be quiet. I'm just a secretary. I'm not the president or the vice president. Let me not get myself in trouble here.
It's going to be amazing. We'll have free HIV testing too, because those who are diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, they have a higher chance of getting cancer because their immune system's low. So we have them too. We're going to have yoga, healthy food.
Shay is a yoga person. Shay, they have a yoga.
The 30-minute documentary that I sent, we're going to be premiering that. And Erica Jo Robinson, she's going to come up from Virginia. We're going to have a hot DJ that a lot of people know. She's going to come out and, do some things. And then we have a Black violinist who did the scoring in the documentary. She's going to play a song. She's going to come out. So, you know, we just really want people to know that cancer does not have to be a death sentence, and there's preventative ways too. So that's why it's cancer, and it's the wellness component as well.
You know, you just said something that's very interesting. Someone's coming up from Virginia. The very first time Ruby and I did an event, Ruby drove up from Maryland.
Wow.
So Ruby, it sounds like it's a road trip for you and somebody. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So tell us about your organization, about the bird. You said Bird Cancer
Education Advocacy Foundation. So Bird comes from my family name. Marie and Jurel Sr. had 12 children, and Marie and Jurel Sr. had cancer, and then their 12 children all had cancer except for one. Wow. 2 were living. So that's why we named it after that, because cancer is very heavily prominent in my family, specifically because Inari is a very small town. Where they lived was the redlining, and the mill dumped a lot of toxins into the water on their side. So they drank that water, and they were in that environment. That's why a lot of my family has cancer. So we wanted to educate everybody about cancer education, about prevention, about clinical trials, about genetic testing, about financial assistance, anything and everything, because there's a huge cancer network that sometimes people do not know about at all. So we wanted people to come for a one-stop place to go, to learn about what cancer is, to learn about, I need to talk to somebody, I need some counseling services. I have a friend in Nigeria and she needs help. I have a friend in Sweden. Just any type of information that you want to know, go to Bird, and then you'll find it out.
Okay, fantastic.
Is that BRYD or BIRD?
BYRD.
Okay, no, one of my mentors, his last name is Bird.
We might be family.
Yeah, he's a radio announcer in New York. He does so much. He wrote music for Stevie Wonder and stuff like that. And he's one of my mentors from New York.
That's me. Dr. Nia, give me the website again so I can pull it up and stick it in the chat.
Sure, it's birdcancerfoundation.org.
Okay, got it.
So now that you have given us all this really great information in the first 20 minutes of the show, oh my goodness, your Imani is popping, girl. Your faith is just off the chain. So let's talk more about, I'm going to let Dr. Walls. I know Dr. Walls have a whole bunch of questions. She always does. She's like you. She's got a whole bunch of questions.
Like me.
Yeah. You were asking me all those questions when we were sitting there in the event. You and your sidekick, you guys just like, I thought I was in a police station, like,
are intruding.
I felt like I was in a police station. I was getting the once over
interrogation.
Boy.
So go ahead. You have a question?
No, I just want to ask her. No, I'm gonna turn it over to you. I know you probably have some questions. She might have something she wants to definitely make sure we get out there. So
yeah. Okay, so let's back up. I'm getting messages offline as well as in the chat, text messages and so forth. The people are like, oh my goodness, I need to watch this. I need to listen. I'm coming. I'm logging on now. So let's just rewind just a little bit. So you are a radiation therapist for those who are just joining us. She has talked about the importance of breast cancer screenings, which she's having an event on April 27th, where free screenings will be done using a technique that is new. And what is it called again?
BEXA.
And it's about the size of a mouse. And it works out great with people of color, with African women specifically. Go ahead. Oh, Ruby says she's going first.
Okay.
Because the breast tissue tends to be dense, and sometimes it is not picked up by a regular mammogram screening. But this new system allows it to be able to be picked up. So this free event is critical. It is open to anybody, male and female. It is also open to people from different states. It costs nothing, and you do not even need to have insurance. Is that a good recap?
That was amazing. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she be taking notes. She takes notes. So let me Sister Dr. Bailey. So let's
Nia.
No, I like the Bailey. I like Dr.
Nada
Nia.
and Curry called me, name me Nia. You can call me Nia.
Okay, Purpose.
Oh, Father.
Okay, Dr. Purpose. So we just all the stuff Dr. Wall said is very important. Thank you, Dr. Wall, for saying that. But
Mhm.
what if, let me put something out, you're probably going to say yes, but I'm going to put it out because I like asking questions I think people are thinking about. What if there's someone who has a friend flying in from another country for that week or so? Can they bring that friend with them?
Sure.
Well, I like she just said sure.
And I like that you said that because actually on Instagram Live we have some people from St. Lucia listening. So
Yeah, that's why I'm from St. Lucia, so I'm always thinking about people coming into this country because sometimes even though you're coming here on vacation, you could take a half a day and come and this is about your
Right.
health and it's
Right.
free.
yeah.
So please please make sure you get the information Dr. Walls put in there about the links and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And when we get the flyers, we're gonna put it out there. So if you have family coming into the country for a week or something like that, something's happening because it's April 27th. I mean, spring is starting to break. The weather's
Yeah.
changing. You
Yeah.
want to do something. Tell them, hey, listen, let's go to this. Let's take a trip to
And do we know
Philadelphia.
where it's going to be yet?
Yes, it's the MQ Factory, and that's in Manioc.
Oh, okay. So that's very
It's
convenient.
the end of Manioc.
Yeah, that's right.
Like near the what's that? The fire station. It's like that on that side.
Yeah,
That's
so
not too
a
far
little
from us.
bit Green Lane down that end. Okay, so that's perfect. Right off of 76, easy to get to. All right.
Stop showing your Philly roots, Dr.
Hey,
Walls.
Phil,
She got
look, born
by
and
the
raised.
76, by this and
That's
by
right.
that. Oh Lord. So if
What do you
it's
say? By the tree?
Right.
no, wait a minute. If it's by 76, that means it's an easy access for people.
It's
Easy.
very easy. So now you've also done 2 documentaries.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know you started sharing one documentary. Tell the people the names of the documentary, what each of them are about, and how can they see them.
The first documentary is titled A Letter to My Sisters, a breast cancer documentary for young women. And the second is A Letter to My Sisters, the Erica Jo Robinson story. So right now you can see the documentaries through screenings right now. So you can request it and I'll send it to you. And A Letter to My Sisters, A Letter to My Sisters, a breast cancer documentary for young women is about 3 young women and their breast cancer story. So one is about Janique, and she's Jamaican, Chinese, and Puerto Rican. So she tells her story. The second woman, she's Mexican American, and she tells her story in Spanish. Thank God for my best friend who flew all the way from California to Philadelphia to interview her because I know un poquito, but not that much.
That's right.
And she tells her story of she didn't know Mexican women got breast cancer. She was like, we don't have time for this. I have my husband, I have my children, I have this, I have that. I didn't have time, but she finally realized she had to pour into herself.
Yes.
Because she poured from an empty cup. So now that she's much better, and then she's able to help her family in that regard. But she's also practicing self-care, which is very important because you can be a wife, you can be a mother, you can be all these things, but you also have to do something for yourself. So she realized that in her journey. And the last woman, her name is Lynn Mitchell. She's Irish, German, and Swedish. And she tells her story of being diagnosed at 41, having that family cancer history, but the physician saying she had to wait until she was 40 to get her mammogram, but she could have got it earlier. So the whole point of this documentary was to start a conversation. The conversation of maybe I should go to a doctor. I don't have a doctor. Maybe I should get that patient-provider relationship. Maybe I should talk to my family. Maybe I should get genetic counseling and then testing. Clinical trials, which is so taboo in the Black and Brown community. So maybe this is something that I need to talk about because you can get in treatment clinical trials or you can get in preventative clinical trials. And maybe it's something that we need to do because if you don't do that, certain things aren't going to be treated in the Black and brown bodies because our DNA is different than other races and ethnicities. So that was the point of that. And hopefully in that conversation, lives will be changed and lives will be. And so similar to the Erica Jo Robinson story, she has been living with stage 4B cancer. And she just really wanted to tell her story of the power of the tongue. And there's a lot of things that she said in her life that is sort of coming to fruition now. And she wished that she had not said. So she's trying to figure out what is God trying to show her and what she needs to do on this journey, and how she needs to survive and how she wants to make it through the 5 years. Because after 5 years, you are cancer free. So that's her goal, to make it through the 5 years. So what I do realize is, through our culture, we love stories and we get a lot from storytelling. I think we learn that way as well. I mean, I get a lot of stories from my parents, and I learn. So I did that purposefully, because going through my doctorate, I said, if I read one more book, one more PowerPoint, but I love a documentary and I love movies. So I thought it was a way that people can learn and start that conversation.
Way to go. Thank you. You're absolutely right. You know, as a former early childhood and elementary teacher, learning styles and differentiation is very important to me. And making sure that the message reaches the masses through the different media formats is so important. So important. Thank you. Go ahead.
No, so you know, Ruby, you live down in the DMV and stuff like that. What kind of, and you've been, you know, a woman living in the DMV. What kind of feedback? What have you heard about cancer, breast examination and stuff like that down there, if any?
Well, you know, I've heard different things. I mean, I have a friend, Channon. His wife was diagnosed with cancer, and they wouldn't allow him to go to Philly. He had to go to Miami.
Oh, I think I know.
Get treatment for her. You know, and it's the insurances and different things like that. My girlfriend Angie, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she had to fight to get a double mastectomy because breast cancer was only in one breast. But eventually, you know, it takes a long time for paperwork and everything. So I just hear things about insurance, and not even the lack of insurance, just the lack of response to a person who has cancer.
And Dr. Nee, that ties into what you were saying earlier, as well as the clinical trial piece that you mentioned. Why are clinical trials so important?
They are so important because they treat a disease. And it's so interesting to me when people say they don't want to enroll due to past medical apartheid, past medical traumas like the Tuskegee experiment, the React and so many others. But they'll say they don't want to enroll in clinical trial, but they'll take Tylenol. Well, that wasn't a clinical trial, and it passed, right? Etc. and things like that. But if we don't, so for example, there's a disease called triple negative breast cancer, and it primarily affects Black and brown bodies. And we are dying. Well, why are we dying? Because they don't know how to treat triple negative breast cancer in our bodies. Well, why don't they? Because our bodies don't go through the clinical trial phase, so they don't know how to treat us. So clinical trials are super important so that we can be treated, so we can be at least at a chronic stage. It doesn't have to be a death sentence. So we have to enroll in clinical trials so that we're saved, and the generations
after
are saved as well. Exactly. So it's so important. And I think what sometimes people don't understand, maybe not, is that there's informed consent. So back then there was no informed consent. That's why they were able to do so much that they did. But you're able to look over the paperwork to see what's going on in the study. And you don't have to say yes right then and there. You can take that paperwork home. You can have somebody look over it.
That's right.
And if you decide to enroll in the study on a Monday, you can unenroll on a Thursday.
Yes.
So you have all the autonomy.
Yes.
So I'm glad you asked that question, because it's so important. We have to enroll or else we're never going to get the treatment
that we need.
Yes.
That's specific
so
to us.
You're saying that, you know, for people who are listening, that, you know, you have the power.
Yes.
To maneuver through the system. And I think Dr. Bailey, as we're talking, is that you know, we have 3 women of color here, and we have more women of color who are involved in this fight. And so having people of color from our community who's out there, who live in the community, Okay, you see every day, you know how to reach them. I think this should give us a little sense of more comfort that when we walk and we see someone like us, and I think that's very important as we're talking, because for those of us who love movies like me, I've been a film producer myself, and Ruby's son went to school for film production.
Oh, that's
um
awesome.
yeah, I know he's like a son to me. I call French is like my son. Like, he went to Full Sail University.
Nice.
And so one of the people that we all say we like so much, and he died from cancer, was Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And
Colon cancer at that.
excuse me.
Colon
Colon
cancer.
cancer.
Colon, yeah. And so, and he was going through. I don't know the whole story behind it, but he was still very young, and
Very
so
young.
yeah. So when we see that, I mean, we have the power in our family to maneuver through the system, say yes or no. We have people in the system that looks like us. They look like us, so we know. And since they look like us, they could sit down. They could talk to us about that fried chicken or whatever, how we eat, and our nutritional diets, what
That's
we're doing with
important.
it. Yeah. So I think this is an opportunity, and I mean, I was joking, but seriously, this is an opportunity when April 27th. Everyone who's on this call should be marking April 27th on their calendar, because it's free. So it's free, and Dr. Walls and us and Ruby and myself, we will be putting the information out. And like I said, this is an excellent opportunity for Sisters for Harmony to actually do something in conjunction with an organization here in Philadelphia where we are based. So I do thank Dr. Bailey for bringing this information to us. And when we started Sisters in Harmony back in 2000, and the whole thing was about putting more positive images back into the community on a mental, physical, and spiritual level. An image is just not a picture.
Right.
Okay, an image, you see the image of yourself in the mirror. So which we're helping you make that image look better. And Dr. Bailey, thank you so much for doing that, for helping
And
us do that.
yeah, thank you for mentioning Chadwick too. I mean, he was so young. People don't get colonoscopies until they're 50. But that's why I always say advocate for yourself. If something doesn't feel right, advocate. If your stool is always solid and for weeks it's loose and you are not lactose intolerant or nothing like that, go to the doctor. You know your habits. You know what get a skin check. Black people do get melanoma. We do get skin cancer. Get a skin check from head to toe. You need to look. I have all these moles on my face, but I have to get them checked because some moles may be cancerous, some may not. It's so anything, lung cancer, brain cancer. It's just so important just to know your body and advocate, because sometimes people don't listen, or you just think, oh, it's just a headache. Oh, I'm too busy. But no, please focus on yourself. It's so important. So thank you for bringing up Chadwick.
And the importance, right, of getting it checked and getting it checked early. And my younger brother, he's starting to share his story. Last year was diagnosed with lymphoma and went through aggressive cancer treatment. I just kept looking at him and I was like, what is wrong with your neck? Like he's a power lifter. He's an Olympic power lifter.
Wow.
So I'm used to him having a big neck, a big frame, 6'4". He carried like 285 was generally his size. But then his neck looked deformed. It was like, what's up? What is going on? He's like, I don't know. And then he was like, I went to the doctor and there was nothing. And it was just like, no, this is not like something that happened from you lifting. So finally he went, they did the test, and lo and behold, he had his lymph nodes were enlarged ridiculously. And then when he had the scan done, not only did they find him in his neck, but they also found him in his chest. And they were sizes, what did he tell me? Like cantaloupes, grapefruits, golf balls, like they were all over. And he went into aggressive treatment. So now here we are a year later. Most of them are gone. Most of them, and the ones that are left are very small. So he's expected to be on treatment for another 2 months. But thank God he went.
Yes.
Right? Thank God and then went through with the treatment and so forth. So it is important that we get it checked out. One of the things that I will say this as well, I worked with Dr. Kristen Bailey a lot during the pandemic around vaccine hesitancy. And we did a lot of panel discussions. And so forth. And one of the things that we found was that people were hesitant about the vaccine because they did not have a working relationship with their primary care physician.
Mhm.
So it became a matter of trust. And so, yes, there is the history of bad things happening to Black and Brown people with studies, but it's also the fact of a lack of a relationship with the medical provider. Anything you want to speak to about that?
Listen, you said it all. I mean, if you don't have that relationship, you're not going to get help. And and it's so important because the times that I don't feel well, or I also have lupus too. So when I feel a lump, I'm like, is it lupus or is it lymphoma? Because I have that gene.
Mhm.
But because I have that patient provider relationship, they're like, okay, Nia, you never complain. You're coming right in. Or, let me feel it. I know your body. So it's so important because we're like this. We know, I said, you're going to know me and I'm going to know you. And that's so important.
And that's it. And my father had cancer, and one of the gifts that I say that he gave us during his exit period was there was a resident at the time doing rounds, and he liked them. He just really, really liked them. And he said, I want to introduce my family to you. And that man became our primary care physician for our entire family.
Wow.
And so he's known us. My father made his transition in 2017.
Sorry to hear that.
But he knows, right? And so we have a working relationship. So anytime, and as you know, I'm the primary caretaker for my mother. Anytime my mother is going through something, I will send him an email, and he responds back to me, and he's like, okay, this is it. These are the symptoms. He knows I'm invested in my mother's health care. He knows I have a critical eye. He knows I'm going to follow the directions that he gives, right? We have this relationship, and building that relationship, advocating for yourself is so important.
I totally agree. Absolutely.
Ruby, you look like you had a question or a thought.
I did. You mentioned something about the is it? Wait a minute, because I wrote it down. I have my pen.
You have your pen and paper. Very good. Very good.
Is it the excuse me, the Touch Black Breast Cancer Alliance?
Yes, touch
Can
the
you
Black
speak
breast
on
cancer.
that a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
You want it? Absolutely. So it was founded by Ricky Farley, and she said Black women are getting the business with breast cancer. Black women die twice the rate of white women. We are getting aggressive cancers, and to the point we don't know why. Well, we do know why as far as not enrolling in clinical trials. So Touch said, you know what? Let's get Bexa. Let's get free clinical trials. Let's get information out to the community, boots on the ground, so that you can learn your family cancer history, so we can get screened earlier, so that we have a reduced mortality rate of cancer. So they are doing boots on the ground for Black women to get them screened to save their lives. So they're absolutely amazing. Touch the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. And Ricky, she is she's a Black breastie, which means she had breast cancer. So it's really driving her. And she was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, which is an aggressive form. And I want to say she's on her 12th year of thriving. So she is the face of going through whatever she needs to go through: clinical trials, genetic testing, eating right, exercising, eating right. I'll say that again because my family in NRE still eat pig feet and still eat chitlins. Now I love a good cheese. I love a good cheesesteak.
Yeah.
We got to have a balanced diet because the things that we ingest play a
No,
role.
not you. You like a good cheesesteak? Get out of here. You must be from Philadelphia or something like that.
Cheesesteak, wings, anyway.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my mom has a business more than kale, and I mean a cheesesteak. But anyway.
Oh, do tell.
It's very important to eat healthy, and what we ingest, what we put on our skin, what we put in our hair.
Yes.
All that is so important because it plays a part into the diseases that we acquire. So Touch the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. They're amazing. So look them up too. They're doing phenomenal work in the community.
What's the full name? Dr. Walls, you can put in.
And it's Touch, all capital, and it's the Black Breast Cancer Alliance.
Okay. I'm taking care of it now.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
thank you, Dr.
tell
Walls.
us about Brenda.
Ooh, that's good. So I work at Christianity.
Check out our vice president. Tell us about Brenda.
At first, I'm like, who's Brenda? At first, do I know Brenda? I work at Christianity Care, and I'm part of the community advisory board. So they wanted to create an acronym to help women learn their ways of preventing breast cancer. So they came up with Brenda. B is for breastfeeding. So if you are in the childbearing age, you want to breastfeed your child for at least a year because that reduces your risk of getting breast cancer. R is reduce your alcohol and sugary drink intake. E is exercise. You want to exercise about 30 minutes a day. N is for nutritious foods. D, do not smoke anything. And A, achieve a healthy body weight. And I just want to go back to nutritious foods real quick. You want to make sure your plate looks colorful. That's very important. That's how you know you're eating something nutritious. And I know sometimes people are like, well, I have a bodega next to me. I have a corner store. I don't go to Wegmans. I can't afford Whole Foods. Okay. But in the grocery store that you can go to, I go to ShopRite right around the corner. I make sure that I look at the perimeter and get the healthy foods. So, and if you have a question, ask somebody that works there or contact me, contact Unite for Her. That's another great resource. And they can help you get the food that you need. Unite for Her is a great resource because they provide free services. And the services equal $2,000 worth of services for breast cancer and ovarian cancer patients. And you get this passport and you can decide what you want, what equals up to $2,000. So you can get free groceries, you can get acupuncture, you can get counseling, you can get so many things. And so it's a great resource and it's free.
And that's uniteforher.org.
Yes.
All right.
Where are they based? They're
based out of Westchester.
Okay.
Look at that.
Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but they found out during the pandemic all you got to do is deliver. So they're all over the United States, but they're based out of Westchester.
Wow. I told y'all, have your pen and paper ready. I told you at the top of the hour she was going to be dropping some stuff.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Dr. Bailey, for doing that. Because one thing in Sisters for Harmony is about empowerment through knowledge. And when we started this organization back in 2009, that was the whole thing about what do we do in our community. We saw that it was a need in the community. That's why we started the organization. And having you on here in 2024 now, it just tells us there still is a need for this organization. And so we thank you for coming on because that's why on the funny thing, the time I was sitting there talking to you all the time, we were talking to you and seeing the people coming up while I was talking to, and they were like listening and walking away and stuff, like getting your flyer and stuff like that. So there are people who might not want to talk to you, but they will listen to the conversation, and they'll side check themselves and take a flyer and probably call you later and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of people who want to listen to you more. You do go out and speak.
Oh, Father, yeah, I do. I do.
That's what I was getting to. Oh, man,
my bad.
I do. And I just went into the farm, Still Rise Farms. It's a great
yes.
Talk about it.
Because getting back to nutrition, so I have a phenomenal mentor who's from North Philadelphia. Her mom passed away of ovarian cancer when she was 29 years old. She became a breast cancer surgeon, and she has a 40-acre farm with no mule in Percy, Pennsylvania. And it's dedicated for wellness. Anybody needs wellness. We all need wellness. So we're having some events coming up. One event is May 4th, and it's getting back to Buddhist nutrition. It's getting back to ecotherapy. It's getting back to yoga. It's getting back to what you need to pour into yourself and what you need for yourself. And to take it, not only to have it with you, but take it back to your community and show like, okay, you may not have 40 acres, but do you have a little plot? Or you don't. You just have a plant. You can plant something in, right where you are. And it's so important, especially for Black and brown people, because I think about where I'm from, well, not where I'm from, but where my family comes from. And my great grandma used to grow everything, tomatoes, lettuce, this, that, and the third. And I have no green thumb. So it's getting back to that because it's important to, you keep laughing. It's important to, it's important. Nutrition's so important. So Dr. Mo, Still Rise Farms,
Yeah.
look out for some events.
I did reach out to them already, and they told the sister who was with you told me they will contact me when they have the next event. So I did do that, and I'm laughing also because last night Shanae was here, and I finally got her to cut some basil leaves off my basil plants and take it home because Shanae is an excellent cook. So I said, Shanae, take some basil leaves. I told her like 3 times already, so she finally did it last night. So Shanae is supposed to be making spaghetti for her son with basil leaves.
She's gonna holler when she finds out you put on. But and we had these really big basil leaves. I mean, they're huge. We do the aquaponics, so it's
No, and you know,
it was a hit.
you
It
talk
was
about affordable. You talk about affordable, Dr. Billy. As you talked about it, we bought that system for less than $100 at
yes,
BJ's.
yes,
So yeah,
wholesale place.
so we get tomatoes out of it. We have basil. So right now we have
Mint.
we got mint. So and that was under $100. It's no bigger than how it's bigger. It's smaller than my lunchbox.
Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah, and we plugged it in, put the water in it and stuff like that. Everything came with it, and we getting basil, tomatoes, and stuff out of it. It's right there in our It's right there.
Cilantro.
Yeah,
That's a good tip.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, we got it from BJ's. No, I'm just plugging. Yeah, BJ's and probably the other places
Yeah.
have it too. But it was really cool. We got it what this summer, Cat? Was it this
yeah, we
summer?
got it this summer, and
Yeah,
it
we got
does.
it.
It waters itself. It's on its own
Yeah, it's
system.
on a timer. We just put the water in and it times the
Great.
timer and tells you when to put the food. It has liquid food that comes with it and stuff like that. The
Yeah,
whole thing is for someone who doesn't have a green thumb.
it's
At
a
all.
This
good
is
one.
uh,
Oh, I need that.
Yes,
yeah, it's really cool. And yeah,
yes.
so we have that, and then and then I have my traditional garden. I have it's indoors right now. We still get tomatoes. We got peppers, and my wife was
We're
nice enough to
getting
buy me
some limes.
a lime tree
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago.
Ooh.
And so I put it into a big pot. It stays, and in the summertime I take it out, and in winter I bring it in. It actually has limes on it now because the flowers came out. Now we have little limes on. We have like 4 little limes on it. That's
Stop
starting to
it. Your
grow.
wife is the best.
But
Yeah, she is.
thank you.
Don't tell her that. No, but no, but the thing is that as we work, there are affordable ways to take better
Yes,
care of ourselves.
yes.
That the expensive thing went out in the 80s and the 90s. Okay, we're in the
Right.
21st century. There's very affordable ways to take care. We just have to look for them, and that's why I thank you for coming on because all the information, all the websites you're giving us, Dr. Walsh is putting it in the web in the chat. So we something Ruby and I used to say when we started Sisters, we like to take excuses away from people.
Right.
And so we're taking these excuses away. Now you have this stuff is free. We're going to be talking more about the April 27th, and then you talk about May now. So we're going to be putting this information out there. So yes, Shanae, I'm going to put you on blast again, Shanae, because you're listening. So I expect Shanae to be at this event with us. Yes, Shanae. Hey, I nickname her Shorty because she's around the height of my mom, which is about 5 feet.
Oh,
So
tiny.
yeah, so I call her Shorty. I keep forgetting her name. I call her Shorty all the time. So that's whenever I walk to the house, I say, "Hey, Shorty, how you doing?" And she responds. She knows who I'm talking
I love it.
So, as people are thinking about their New Year's commitments, we don't call them resolutions because
Mhm.
people choose resolutions and then they don't last, usually past a week,
Mhm.
right? So, your New Year's goals, breaking them into tasks, your New Year's commitments, then equal your lifestyle changes.
That's deep.
And so, one of the goals for people who are, if you want to get healthy, let me back up and say this. So, I created goal and task, um, a goal and task monitor, all right,
Okay.
tracker. So, you can create goals for the 9 to 10 areas of wellness in
Wow.
your life. So, financial, physical, emotional, spiritual, environmental, creative, intellectual, academic, career, and I'm missing one. But we have to get clear on what our goals are. So if you're saying, look, I want to be healthier in 2024, that's the goal. Then you need to create the tasks so that you achieve the goal. Because all a goal is a series of tasks,
Right.
right? So you want to get a college degree, there's a series of classes that you have to take. Those are the ingredients that equal the recipe for the type of degree that you want. It's the same thing with any type of goal. So you're saying you want to be healthier in 2024. Dr. Nia has come on and she said, okay, one of those tasks to do that is come to this free event in Manayunk on April 27th and have a breast exam, men and women. Because what, give us the numbers again, the number of men that get it versus the number of women?
Women get 1 in 8 and men 1 in 400.
All right. So we already have this data. So now let's get checked out. It takes how long? It's a mouse. It's the size of a mouse. She showed us,
So
right? They run it over you. How long does it take?
From taking off your top to laying on the table to getting the test to leaving, 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes. It's going to take you longer to find parking. But, right. But come get this done. And that can be one task completed on your 2024 healthier list. She's also mentioned the importance of healthy foods. Now, a lot of times, some people want to just throw everything out and become a vegan or a vegetarian or I'm going to eat right. Let's just do a little bit at a time. Add one healthy thing in a day. You can pick one day a week. Let's say Wednesdays is Wellness Wednesday. And on Wellness Wednesday, you're going to make sure you have some fruit. So you're going to get something from her mama, from the kale place. You're going to do something that's going to be healthy food-wise. The other 6 days, have at it, or you can flip it like I do. 6 days a week, I'm eating according to the program that works for me.
Wow.
And then on my 7th day, I have a relaxed day. I don't call it a cheat day because I don't cheat. I call it a relaxed day. All right.
Good. Okay.
So words are very important.
I mean, yes.
Right? And I don't lose weight. I get rid of it because I ain't interested in nobody helping me find it.
Oh, I'm coming on your tour. I know that's
right. All right. So there are ways. So if you want the tracker, I would say send me an email.
Yes.
Send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat. And for those who are listening on LinkedIn and on Instagram Live right now, you're going to have to swing on over to Ask Dr. Walls 525 on YouTube in order to get the links, one, to all of the places that Dr. Nia talked about, because I'm going to post them in the description. And I'll also put my website and my email in the description. So if you want that goal and task tracker, you're going to have to hit me up from there. All right. Okay, so go ahead, Dr. Nia. What else do people need to know? What other additional information, and also how can they contact you?
Oh Lord, I would just say start to pour into yourself, and once you pour into yourself, I think you'll realize what you need, what you don't need. You need to take care of yourself. Self-care is very, very important. You can't pour into anybody else if you don't take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. So I want to say that, and then there. You can always contact me on my website, drniaimanibailey.com, or you can Instagram me at Dr. Nia Imani, or Facebook me, or LinkedIn. Text me, whatever, it don't matter. Mm-hmm. Just if you have a question, just ask it.
That's
okay.
Right.
Dr. Walls.
Yes.
Okay, we have 2 people listening, and
yes.
one said good night to us because he is in East Africa, so he's 8 hours ahead of us. I sent him the link earlier this when I was talking to him. Simon, hey Simon, how you doing?
Good night.
And then and Sister June from St. Lucia just hit me up, so I just sent her the information. So and this is I'm saying that because as we listen, we have a global audience listening, and that's why I said before about, hey, if you're coming to visit friends here in the Philadelphia area, and Dr. Wall said the location is not too far from 76. So even though you're in New Jersey, you could you're flying into New Jersey, so you guys could drive down for the day, and so forth in Delaware, Maryland, the DMV, and stuff like that. this is free, and this is about your health. So this for
That's right.
2024, this is an opportunity for you to start off on the right foot per se.
Mhm.
So Dr. Bailey is giving you an opportunity now for free for you to
Mhm.
start off on the right foot.
And let me say this, Brother Moja, real quick. You said right, RIGHT, but I do want to mention real quick that she does WRITE, and she has a
Oh,
book, and we're going to talk about the book more because she's going to come on my Planner's Knowledge pop-up podcast. But I do want her to mention the name of her book. Just give us a summary about it and where people can find it. So hopefully you can get some book sales tonight.
sure. The title is Love Thy Neighbor. You can get it on Amazon or you can get it on my website. And it's about a little girl's journey of feeding the homeless. And she got that from her grandmother Smiley, because her grandmother Smiley would say the only time you look down on someone is to extend a hand. The only time you look down on someone is to extend a hand down to help them up. And it's very important to never judge anybody because we could be in their shoes. So you follow a little girl's journey of feeding, clothing, and fellowshipping with the homeless.
Love it. Love it. So, y'all, if you are not following Ask Dr. Walls 525, I'm telling you right now, I have dubbed myself the YouTube queen. So, y'all need to make sure you are subscribing to hear this fabulous author's journey when I have her on. This way, hit subscribe, hit that bell. So, therefore, you know when she is coming on next. Brother Moja, anything else you'd like to say before we get ready to close out?
Yeah, I just real quick, Dr. Walls, for people who are listening, the location and the event that we met Dr. Bailey at was not a big look. It wasn't a big event, but something I always tell people is it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So when you walk into a room, family, check things out, what's going on, listen to what's going on. Because I saw her sitting there with her friend, and I just walked over and I started talking. She was so kind, she started talking back to me, and we just kicked it off, and then here she is. And I always tell people when God has a blessing for you, it's for you. It's not. It might not be for 1,000 people. It might just be for you in that room. So focus on the quality in 2024 and leave the quantity to God, because we brought her on here, and now I know she's touching people's life globally through
Big
Sisters
time.
in Harmony. She's already doing that, but now we
Mhm,
just introduced her to our circle. So I want to thank
mhm,
her, and then let's get 2024 going on the right steps.
mhm. Ruby, anything you'd like to say and or ask before we close out?
No, I just want to say thank you, and I did my work.
Good, good. Dr. Bailey, anything else you want the people to know before we close out for
I,
tonight?
I want to thank the three of you because it's clear that what you do is needed, it's impactful, and it's life saving. And you don't know how many people you are reaching, those who are probably 12 years old to 99 years old. So, and I'm not sure if this is a thankless job. So I'm thanking the three of you for what you're doing and the time and effort that it takes to put into this, because I know you want to take a nap, but you are doing this for the people. And I think it's very important because sometimes I feel like the world has been changing, but it's great to know that there's three phenomenal Black people changing the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're getting thank yous in the chat for you as well. Thank you, everyone who joined us. Again, be sure to follow Ask Dr. Walls 525 on YouTube. Hit the replay on this one. There was a lot of great information and resources given. As I said, I will put those links in the description. So just give me a few moments after the show to get that in there for you. And also check out her book. What's the name of the book again?
Love Thy Neighbor.
Love Thy Neighbor. It is available on her website as well as on Amazon. As you know, yours truly also has her Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny, a hip hop tale.
Yes.
Yeah. And The Greatest Soul Journey and Live by the Spirit. You can check them out too. And we will see you again real soon. Hit that subscribe button and that bell because I'm always popping up with something. So, signing off for Sisters for Harmony. As always, God bless and continue to live your greatest life. See you soon. Bye bye.
Okay, good night.
Bonsoir.